Hello again. Now today we're going to go into another episode, another different times of my life, and one of the first things that we'll be doing, we'll be going through a few of the yearbooks when I was in high school at Waseca in Crawford County, and at that time, of course, things were a lot different. You will notice when we start out here with the freshman class, you'll see some of the disguises and things that we had to wear for freshman initiation. That used to be done by the senior class. They had a lot of fun with that. And with the freshmen here, you will see a few of those things that we tried to wear or had to wear there. Not everybody is pictured there, but you get some idea. Then we'll be going on to three more yearbooks, and mention quickly there who I'm pointing out there, and I'll talk a little bit about the person. And then we'll be going around through graduation time for high school, and what it was like there at college in Platteville. And then we have also a picture book that was done by one of my helpers that was good in the dark room, and so there's a few scenes there that we'll look at, but those are later years, but I think you probably would enjoy seeing some of those. To start with, now these books, of course, are kind of sewed. They won't lie flat. But notice in the bottom of the picture, this page, you can see some of the disguises and things that we were asked to wear, and of course the seniors were having fun with that, seeing all that. But you don't see everybody, but you see some of them, and that was something that used to be done. I don't know, it's a lot of years since that's been done in schools, but just thought you'd find that kind of interesting. Now in the next book here, where you see janitor, that's my dad there, Ed Warczak. Now the reason why he went to work at the schools as a custodian, as a janitor, it was difficult to find work in the winter months way back then, because he was a good carpenter, could build cabinets, painter, you name it, plumbing. At least the plumbing had to be done in your own home, but he was good at all those things. And so, but that's why he ended up there working at the school, and there were other people there too, different ones over the years that were part of the janitorial or custodian staff there at Waseca. Now moving on here, these things are kind of hard to work with because they won't lie flat. But in this picture here above the faculty, on this side here, you see Catherine Eberly. She's the person who helped me get involved in forensics and dramatics, things like that, school newspaper, that type of thing. And so she was very helpful. We have to remember there, with most students, there was probably some faculty member that helped them with some area that they were interested in or encouraged them with, so that was not an unusual thing. But she certainly was very helpful. I remember even going back after I was out of high school, visit with her once in a while there in Waseca, and still think about some of the old days. Now this one is a little bit difficult here. Again, trying to keep things flat as we can. But you see the group picture here of those involved in dramatics, and so I was one of the people there. And that was always been a big thing over the years. I enjoyed that so much there, at least being a witness or assisting in some way there with productions during the years at Bloomington High School. That was really very interesting. But there you can see, And also that Catherine Eberly shows up in that picture too. Now we'll move on here to graduation program for Waseca High School. And you can see also one of the pictures that appeared in the newspaper at the time. And you can see my picture, and also Victor Richmond. He was the salutatorian, I was the valedictorian. We were good friends all the way through high school and college days, and he's been gone for about 4.5 years now, but missed very much there, but he was always a good friend. Now you see there in the program itself, in the old days, what they call the baccalaureate. Notice the religious members, clergy members there. And that used to be a kind of a standard thing at one time, but then that's not been done for a long time. And at graduation, you see there are again some ministers or priests that are listed there in the program. There we see different people from the class that were doing presentations, and salutatory address by Victor Richmond, valedictorian address there by myself, and people. Amy McFall again, she helped with the awarding of the 8th grade diplomas there when that was going on. John McCoy was one of the important people in the school there for quite a long time. Now here you see there's smaller pictures, of course, but that was our class of 1960. 16 of us. So wasn't a very big class way back then. It got larger after that, of course, but you get a good idea of how everybody looked back in those days, and probably some of the hairdos and styles and so forth. Now when we get over to going into the college days on the exponent, and I know one of these that used to mention about there being how important that was, and this name of the State College and Institute of Technology, that's all changed in more recent years, but you had the technology located in one of the other buildings a little further away, and a lot of buildings have been added and everything since those days. And you see on this one here where at this time in 1962 I was one of the co-feature editors for the exponent. And I should add that the English teacher that I had there as a freshman and so on, Frank Pross, well, he kind of noticed that I was sort of interested in writing things. He always had to remind me, now be careful, journalistic writing isn't quite the same as formal English, and so he always reminded me, but he knew I would be somewhat interested in that, and he was correct when I got into that more. Now also here in 1962, at homecoming time at Platteville, well, there were a lot of people that weren't too interested in being gone when it was homecoming, but I was willing, and some others here, to go on this trip here, and we got to go into Canada. So that was very, very nice. And then that happened another time too, and so I got to go another place that was even further away. So it was one way to get a little traveling in, since there wasn't always a whole lot of money to work with. That was one way. It was kind of fun to be able to do some of those things. Now, here in this little press card here, certify that Jim Warczak is a member of the publication staff of the Wisconsin State College and Institute of Technology at Platteville. And then this doesn't show very well, but there was a little thing that I could pin onto the shirt or whatever, and indicating this, again, I was working for the Exponent college paper. when you get over on this side here, now in 1963, we see up here we're showing some of the staff, some of the changes here, making in the first issue, and meeting next year some of the people that it would be working with there. So kind of showing people what was going to be taking place. And at the time here I was editor-in-chief. Now, one of the things about that final year, 63-64 school year there at Platteville, at the college, a lot of things happened that year. My dad, it's Warczak, that we saw earlier there as a custodian there at Wazeeka, that he got, we never knew what caused it. It was type of a skin type thing where the skin got tight and it was difficult to eat, to swallow. That was one of the big problems. And so got a little weaker there, other things set in there. He did pass away there in the fall. And what always sticks in my mind, of course, that he was buried the same day as President Kennedy was. And so that was one day in the college that there was no college classes held that day. So that was the day. So that sticks in my mind. Also, there was things I had to finish up with that college year. Fortunately, the semester didn't end until after the Christmas break. That helped quite a bit. There's a lot of things to get done, and I was getting ready to, of course, go off to do student teaching, and that was going to be done at Gays Mills High School. This is before they merged with Soldiers Grove to form North Crawford. And that was a very interesting experience. It was nice because a lot of the people that were student teachers, they had to do it at maybe one of the lab schools there at the campus in Platteville. Those kids were used to all the tricks of the trade, so it was nice being out there at Gays Mills, and I was able to, since Dad had passed away, I did have the car so I could stay at home, drove there for that 9 weeks there for the classes there. I was in English, filling in the English area there at Gays Mills. So that was very interesting there. And also going back a little bit here, where there was these scholarships here, and Jewish scholars, and this was appeared in the Capital Times. So again, I was lucky, one of the people that got to get a scholarship, because again, in those days there you were stretching the money as much as you could there. I know Platteville was always called the suitcase college, that maybe a lot of people went home for the weekend, but that was to eat home, save some money, stretch the money a little bit more. That's just one of the things that people did, so it wasn't anything bad about the college at all. Now, here we see the commencement program. This is a copy, so it's easier to read there from the, all these programs here. Things get old after all those years that have gone by. So we made a photocopy of it. And again, Wisconsin State College and Institute of Technology at Platteville. And of course, names are all very different now. And in the other sheet, secondary education, that's where you find me listed there. So that's where I could be found. Now, one other thing here, so we don't use too much time, but I thought you might like to see. Everybody has fun on this. Now, the person that put together a lot of these pictures about me, of course, was good in the dark room. And you could see this was a skit. And guess who's going to be in the way for something that's going to get in his face? You can see I'm on target there. Now there's a lot of other pictures, but I'll kind of go to some other spots here. Now here's one where you can see what it's like there when it's cold and out there, and one of the cameras had different cameras, flash units, everything kind of different over the days. And you see me up here working on some other things there in the library, and also trying to figure out some things there for the yearbook. So all that kind of continued on there in the later years. Now here again you see we're working on some more things there, and you see another camera over here. Wore a lot of cameras out, weren't very fancy in those days, but you saw earlier with the roll of film and so on. Got 400 speed film and black and white and 100-foot rolls, and just made our own little things to use in the camera. Now here again, for anyone interested, oh, you got to be a target again. You can't eat or anything and not get caught by the camera. Well, I was so used to taking everybody else's pictures, so everybody else wanted to get their chance too. You can kind of see how the clothing styles, and whether it was always a suit or a special jacket after a while, things changed quite a bit over the years. Now here, this one I like so well here because I was always so interested in everything that John Patterson was doing. He was in publicizing sports there even while in high school, and through just about all his life there, he was very handy. And here you see that the two of us, for our efforts there with the athletics, the sports and everything, how we were being recognized. And you can see, of course, I'm a little taller in those days. I think I've shrunk a few inches. You know, whenever you go to the medical people, they always want to take your measurements, and oh yeah, I've shrunk some from what I used to be. Used to always figure it was 6'1" or 6'2", but that all disappeared kind of quickly as the years went by. So that kind of gives you some idea of what it was like, and you know, every once in a while they're trying to help out with things, and then what's going on here with graduation days and trying to get everything together. And even a picture there of one of the floats there that was in there for the West Grant Lions Club, and that had been down probably at Bagley there, I think. And at the time there, you still could have some teams, wagons there with, it was always a little hard there when it was around the 4th of July time, because of fireworks and so on. That could scare ponies or animals of any kind there, so that was one of the things. So I hope you kind of found the tour interesting here today, and there's a lot of things that we'll be doing the rest of the year, and sometime later on in the future we'll be showing some of the other notebooks that we're filling out and things that will be available to see here at the History Room. So thank you for watching again.